All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, glory, and infinite honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash. Double honor to all the elders and apostles of GMS that taught me this truth. Peace and shalom to the fellow Akim, hopeful elect that are pushing the truth with honesty and sincerity. The Akim and Akwath, okay? Yahweh being the Heavenly Father, who the word English calls Lord or God. Yahweh Shai being his only begotten Son, who the word English calls Jesus Christ. Those are the true names in the ancient Paleo Hebrew, which is known as the Lashon Kodash, man. And you're going to need those names as dire times come, or as the scriptures will call it, the hour of temptation, man. All right. And it says United Airlines prepares to fire nearly 600 unvanescent employees. And this article is from today, actually, or yesterday. All right, it says United Airlines is preparing to fire almost 600 employees who failed to comply with the company's mandate. And again, we have to talk in code on here, man. A lot of brothers are switching to YouTube. I do have a BitChute channel. So a lot of brothers are switching from YouTube, I should say. Some brothers are going to BitChute. Some brothers are going to Odyssey. I do have a BitChute channel. When I get a chance and I remember, I will leave it in the link. So yeah, continuing on, because we still have to talk in code. They are Facebook, or not Facebook. YouTube came out with a new policy saying that they will remove all videos that give out false information regarding the Vanessa. So, you know, the truth has gotten to them, and the famine of the word ultimately is getting ready to come down, man. All right. There's so much going on, and this video is going to be various topics because so much going on. We're just going to touch into a few different topics here and there and bring out the scriptures as we are in those times, man. All right. So continuing on. By the September 27 deadline, company executives told employees Tuesday United was one of the first major companies to announce a mandate for its 67,000 U.S. employees, the overwhelming majority of whom have complied. So you're gonna see buzzwords like that: complied, non-compliance, and ultimately you will be deemed a terrorist and enemy of the state, man. All right, this place is divided, division on so many different levels. Okay, and so continuing on, and we know for some that decision was a reluctant one, but there's no doubt in our minds that some of you will have avoided a future hospital stay or even death because you danced with Vanessa. United's CEO Scott Kirby and the company's president Brett Hart told employees in a note Tuesday, 593 employees who didn't get the Vanessa and are in violation of the mandate can still save their jobs by getting Vanessa during their official termination proceedings, the Chicago-based airline said, man. All right. I'm not going to read all this article. Just going to continue this last paragraph. We will work with employees if during this process they decide to dance with Vanessa, a spokesperson said, adding that the airline is now beginning proceedings. Roughly 2,000 United employees are exempt from the mandate for religious or medical reasons, company Access said. And look, I was listening to a video of, and we know this, I was listening to a video of Elder Malcolm was going into, they're gonna do away with, eventually end up doing away with these exemptions. All right, it's you're able to dance around and work your way through it. But here pretty soon is not going to matter because there's not in their plan or in their agenda to have you have a choice. This man wants ultimate complete control. Okay. So they're going to keep coming with mandates. They're going to keep coming with boosters until that RFID comes out. Okay. And that's just what that is. That's just the time, man. All right. So coming with these mandates, it's going to be a lot of job losses, A lot of food losses, a lot of riots, a lot of protests. And we go into Second Esdras, the 15th chapter, a lot, man, because those are the times that we're in, man. All right, that pale horse, if you will, man. Let me see. I'm typing. That pale horse is coming about, man. Harsh, rough, draconian times, man. This whore is getting ready. This beast that is coming up out of the sea, going and according to Revelations 13, is speaking like a dragon. Draconian rule. All right. And for those who don't live to worship the beast, they will be killed, man. All right. The image of the beast, they will be killed. We might just go ahead and pull it up. But it says, behold, speak down to the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord. And we're telling these people what's getting ready to come down the pike. All right, World War III, famine, job losses, anguish, death, and calamity, man. We're speaking this into the ears of the people. Some will listen, some will not listen, man. You have a lot of people running around here thinking that things will go back to normal. This is the new normal. The new normal is food shortages, gas shortages. All right. High crime rate. Okay. High murder rate. Pillaging. Division between mask and not mask, between Vanessa and not Vanessa. That's the new normal, man. Okay. Verse 2, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. All the Lord's prophecies and words are faithful and true, man. Okay. Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against the incredulity, you non-believers. Like I work out with a personal trainer. And me and him were talking. I forgot how the conversation came up. But I just threw a jab out there. I was like, yeah, man, we're at the end times. Like this mask and all this other mess, it's over. It's like, what do you mean? I'm like, man, we're clearly in the end of the world. I'm like, this is it. It is like, well, we're not the end of the world. I'm like, okay, man. It's people like that. So what's the next plan? Is just gonna mull over? It's just gonna roll over? Because you got a group of people that are not going for it. You got a group of people that are not going to go for it, man. These malicious, these freedom fighter, freedom loving patriots, they're not going to roll over, man. The Lord has put the spirit on them not to roll over, to fulfill his will. Okay? And the Lord's will be done on earth. Period, man. All right. Verse 4, for all the unfaithful should die in their unfaithfulness, you non-believers, such as my personal trainer who believes that we're not in the end times. We're not at the end of the world. And he was like, man, well, if we're in the end of the world, what are you doing here training? I'm like, man, I have to be in some type of shape. Even though the Lord will lift up the standard and give brothers spiritual powers to overcome things, like, I don't know if I'll be the one that has spiritual power. So I got to be able to run and move and bend and jump, you know. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people just are oblivious to the times that we're in, man. Okay. Gonna move down a little bit. Let me see here. We'll start at 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up and fight against another with swords in their hands. You got the people who don't want to dance with Vanessa clashing against the people who want to dance with Vanessa, and the anti-abortionists and the anti-this and the pro that. Verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They should not regard their kings or their princesses, their governors, their politicians, their presidents. They're not listening to none of them, man. Most people have no clue what's going on over in Australia. Water cannons are released on the people because they're marching, they're protesting. And we're starting to see these green passes and these mandatory passes slowly make their way to Babylon the Great or America, man. All right, continue on to 16. In the course of their actions, shall stand in the power. A man shall desire to go into a city and should not be able. Martial law troops are going to be out here soon. All right. I just did a lesson a few days ago going into National Guard being deployed across different states and across military getting ready to go across the world. Matter of fact, let me pull up this video that I got from the brother. I cannot remember. Brother Ashiar from I think it's South Carolina. Salakia. I think it's in lessons. The brother Ashiar. I hope I'm saying his name right. Yeah. UK puts army on standby to deliver fuel as gas stations run dry. So we're gonna
this morning that
just watch some of this.
8-year high, according to the RAC, and it does come down to availability rather than supplies. It's about the chain.
It's all about availability, and you know what? It was a struggle this morning to find a petrol station in London that has petrol. All the ones near my house have run out. Now, there was a huge queue here this morning at the one in East London.
Now, I will say this. I stopped at Quick Trip this morning on my way to the plantation on the whole opposite side of town from where I live. And the whole gas station was out of premium and super. All of them were out. All they had was unleaded. Look, man, shortages, food shortages, gasoline shortages, all types of shortages are coming to Babylon the Great, man. The Lord is just saving this place for last.
All right, Matt, I'll have a little look here. The queue's actually rather subsided. They had a delivery of 20,000 litres of unleaded petrol this morning, which has gone some way to help. The problem is, though, Julia, of course, lots of people need it. There has been some panic buying, in addition to the fact that not enough petrol can get to the stations because of the shortage of drivers. Certainly the UK government has been pushing the idea that if people didn't panic buy petrol, there'd be plenty to go around for those that really need it.
And the people are panic buying because that's what ultimately the elite want. They want that agenda to be pushed. Naturally, if you tell someone during a bomb alert, don't run, they're going to run. If you wouldn't tell the people that there was a shortage, they wouldn't run out and panic buy. But you announce this shit knowing that they will. See, Esau is full of antics and games with his witchcraft, man. So now they got what they want. All right, the people are already in uproars in different parts of the UK doing to these passes and these protests and all this other shit. So now they have the military on standby. Classic problem action solution.
And that is the problem. Of those I've seen today, it's all taxi drivers, delivery drivers, people that need to drive for work. And there's a big concern about first responders. Fire engines, ambulances, policemen. The British Medical Association this morning was saying that they would like to see some petrol stations designated as a priority for critical workers. That isn't something yet the UK government has done. The big announcement has been that the army stands ready. They always are in case of strikes. There are always some personnel within the army ready to drive fuel tankers and fill up stations.
Yeah, you raised such a critical point, though, and the idea of dedicating certain service stations to first responders seems like a brilliant idea, and let's put you in charge. Do you think there's some element of profiteering, of price gouging going on? I mean, people have to compare what they're seeing in terms of prices. I guess if you're desperate, you go where you can. And on that point, what's the bigger plan here from the government to tackle this?
Well, in terms of the prices, you're absolutely right. There have been lots of reports of price gouging, largely from independent gas stations up and down the country. That is something the UK Petrol Retailers Association has been warning about. Remember, consumers have very long memories when it comes to crises like this. Here, actually, the price isn't much above, slightly above the average, but it has gone up in recent days. In terms of the UK government, so the army is on standby. They've also announced in the last few days measures such as issuing temporary visas for 5,000 foreign truck drivers. One could say, post-Brexit, they have quite literally moved on, and are they really going to come back? The British Chambers of Commerce president today saying this was like pouring a thimble of water on a bonfire. You and I have talked about the shortage of drivers for ages. Yes,
That's right. The shortage of drivers is going to create a trickle effect. No food, water, and other things. So going back again to verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Why? Because there are going to be troops, martial law troops. Again, I did a video how troops were deployed all across the world, chiefly in certain cities in here in America. And I was coming back from my ribs house early one morning, driving by my son's school, and they had national troops as crossing guards. Literally the day after I did a video on National Guard troops, they had them as crossing guards. The brother you call did a video, or mentioned rather, how there's National Guard troops driving buses in Massachusetts as well as Ohio and all over a few other different places, man. Okay, so we see we that have the eyesight to see and hear. We see what's going on. We see the agenda, man. Okay. All right. Let me see here. So, yeah, shortages. All right. People losing their jobs. Verse 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because a lack of bread and for great tribulation. Wait till people have been unemployed with no food, no water, no houses. Those bills pile up, they get kicked out. Wait till around the end of November, when it's a few months where these people have not danced with Vanessa or put in a hard spot. What the hell do you think is going to happen, man? What do you think is going to happen? Okay. So Ezekiel 14:13, Son of man, when the land sinneth against me by transgressing grievously, then I will stretch out my hand upon it, and I will break the staff of bread thereof, and I will send famine upon it, and I will cut off man and beast from it. No work will create famine, man. All right. The staff of bread, the work, will collapse an economy, create a trickle-down effect. Hell, matter of fact, let's look at them talk about raising the debt ceiling as we speak. So this video was earlier today. Just click out of that. This video here was earlier today, going into... All right. Right here.
Visible is wireless that doesn't
Of
play
course,
games.
commercial.
It's powered by Verizon for as little as $25 a month, but it gets crazier.
So now they're voting on to extend or do another round of quantitative easing, which is basically what it's going to boil down to. Actually, that's not the one. Let me see here. Let's.
Blackburn, no.
All right. So right here, Congress has agreed. Let's see what it says. Congress has agreed, approves sending bill to avoid government shutdown. Meaning they were running out of money again.
Gravitas, co-presented by Skoda. Kushak, choose what
Because what
really
happens
matters.
Joe Biden is an embattled
in October,
president.
mid-October?
His foreign policy has delivered more setbacks than wins. And now even his domestic agenda looks headed for failure. In less than 24 hours from now, the US government could go into a shutdown. That's because the US Congress refuses to approve the Biden administration's budget. In about 2 weeks, the US government will be out of money. America will default on its loans for the first time in history.
In history.
Our next report tells you more.
Rewind that.
In about 2 weeks, the US government will be out of money. America will default on its loans for the first time in history. Our next report tells you more.
Through.
A stadium filled with sounds of booze. That's how spectators welcomed U.S. President Joe Biden on Wednesday. He was attending a baseball game between lawmakers at a time when the future of his domestic agenda is at stake. Biden is staring at a potential financial disaster. The coffers of the Treasury Department are about to run dry. The Biden administration is unable to get a budget bill passed. If the impasse continues, the U.S. government will shut down. All of this has happened before. Since 1981, America has witnessed a total of 14 government shutdowns. But this time, the crisis is much bigger. America's reputation is on the line. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has issued a dire warning. She says if the government doesn't get the funds it needs, America would default on its loans for the very first time in its history.
And when you default on all your loans, your money in your bank account is rendered useless. Let me pull up the definition of what happens if America defaults, and I'll be right back. All right, so I found something that's somewhat interesting. It says U.S. debt ceiling. What is it, and what happens if Congress doesn't raise it? It says the U.S. government has never defaulted on its debts, but actions by Senate Republicans are threatening to shatter the nation's financial track record. At the center of the congressional fight is a somewhat obscure bureaucratic mechanism, the debt limit, which is the amount of money the government is legally allowed to borrow. Failing to raise or suspend it could lead to dire financial consequences that could impact every part of the U.S. economy. All right. The Democratic-led House of Representatives narrowly passed a bill along party lines last week to fund the U.S. government through the beginning of December and suspend the debt ceiling until the end of 2020. But Senate Republicans blocked the measure on Monday. Not a single Republican voted in favor, settling the stage for a clash. The U.S. government could run out of money as soon as October 15, according to an analyst published by the Bipartisan Policy Center, man. So you can do all this borrowing money and quantitative easing and all this other shit. It's not going to do any good, man. It's not going to do any good. Jeremiah 50:51. Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord Yahweh's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations are drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad. The nations have drunk the philosophy of America and has led them to no good, which is why they're not. There's nothing they're going to do to help this thing, help this place. All right. There's nothing that they can do because it's all of the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai to bring this place down. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her? Take balm for her pain. If so, she may be healed. Balm is a healing agent, okay? And the form of balm in this particular situation will be printing more money, okay? But you can only print so much before you reach the top of the debt ceiling, which they're talking about right now. And he's reached the top, which is why they want America to still be the world reserve, but this time it has to be through a digital system, which they're getting ready to roll in. All right. And along with that digital system will be all your medical records, all this such and such. through a chip, man. Okay. Verse 9, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her. Let us go, everyone, into his own country, for her judgment reached unto heaven and is lifted unto the skies. We would have healed Babylon, but but there's no healing. She is not healed. There's nothing you can do but sit and watch this bitch tick and go away, man. And that slowly is what's happening. James 5:1. James 5:1. Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries, that ye shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten, and your riches are corrupted, man. All right, your dollar, your precious America, is fading away, man, slowly but surely. And the rich men are a representation of these rich elite bankers, man. All right, chiefly Amalek, man. All right, verse 3. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped treasures together for the last days. America, Babylon is getting ready to be destroyed, man. One of the first things to go is in the nation being destroyed is his economy, man. Its economy. And there's a huge discrepancy between the rich and the poor, man. And it's only even going to be more when more mandates are passed. And the more mandate, the people aren't just going to roll over and go with that, man. People are going to riot and cause all hell and chaos, man. Thus saith the scriptures, man. All right. Calamity and turmoil is coming to the streets of America, man. We and starting with the elders and apostles on down have been saying this for years, man. And it's here. And you niggas don't believe it. All right. You don't believe it's coming, man. Too much football, too much basketball, too much baseball, LeBron James and R. Kelly and all this other shit that's going on, man. Keeping you people distracted. Isaiah 19:15. The economy collapses, breaking the bread and the staff thereof. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt which the head or tail or branch or rush may do. No work through the economy falling, through these mandates. All right, through shortages. Every terror shall be on every side. All right, roughly paraphrasing. Okay, there's nothing. We would have healed Babylon, but there's no healing. Okay, there's nothing that can be done to this place, man. All right. Let me see here. This is let me start with Nahum. Nahum 3:19. Let's see if we can get it out of KJV. This is Nahum 3:19. There is no healing of thy bruise. Thy wound is grievous. All that hear the bruit of thee shall clap their hands over thee. For upon whom have not thy wickedness passed continually? Salakia. Whom have not thy wickedness passed continually? Who have not America destroyed? All right. Going back into Jeremiah 51:7, Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai's hand. The other nations have drunken the wine. Now the other nations are mad. So whom have not thy wickedness passed continually? Okay. And when we get it out the NIV, it says, nothing can heal you. Your wound is fatal. All who hear the news about you clap their hands at your fall. For who has not felt your endless cruelty? Man, this is beautiful. Who have not felt your endless cruelty, man? All right. The other nations are rejoicing and watching as this place systematically burns. They think they got next, man. But the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai has next, man. All right. Man, there was a lot more that I want to get into, but we're already at the 30-minute mark. So we'll just cut it here, man. Lord willing, I can come back and finish some of this up, man. Hopefully this lesson was edifying. Sorry if I did make it a little long, but I want to give all praise and glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai. Shalom.